Is the Death Star arranged in, like, onion layers, or is it arranged in, like, tomato slices?
But which one is superior?
Yeah. There's only one way to find out, guys. We got to do it ourselves.
Yep.
We gotta do it ourselves. We gotta make bugs.
build it ourselves.
Subscribe to our Patreon to fund the Death Star.
Not just one Death Star, but 2 Death Stars.
Right.
On change.org, there was a petition for the United States to make a Death Star. It got enough signatures that the U.S. had to respond.
But
Oh my god, this is a lot of zeros. I found it.
this is a couple like trillion or something.
$852 quintillion. 13,000 times the world's GDP.
But we will create more jobs in the creation of this Death Star, so the
Yeah.
GDP will increase.
So go to lostholocron.com and you can find out how you can support future episodes.
And 2 Death Stars.
Yeah.
Hello there. You found the Lost Holocron, an ancient artifact of lore and legends from a galaxy far, far away. Each transmission of the Lost Holocron, you will join an episodic discussion of media from the Star Wars universe. We will be your guides. I'm Tim, and I'm joined by Kyle.
Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room. A rubber room with rats. Rats make you crazy.
Scott?
I used to do drugs. I still do, but I used to
Stuart?
I'm here.
He's coping. We will cover the material up to and including Chapter 27 of Heir to the Empire.
No. We're up to chapter 29.
Oh my god.
Where's the time gone?
And we thought we were the crazy ones.
I know.
Crazy? I was crazy once.
We will be covering the material up to and including Chapter 29 of Heir to the Empire, and I am so nervous to call on any of you tonight. All right, pick my poison. Scott, tell us what happened so far.
Do you really want to know?
I'm not sure yet. We'll find out.
Do you not have it open, Scott?
Oh no, that's 28. There we go. Okay, story so far. Grand Admiral Thrawn and Captain Pellaeon are engaged in preparations to assault the Sluis Van Shipyards. They have left a contingent of stormtroopers at Hyllyard on Myrkr to intercept the survivors of a crash. Thrawn correctly suspects it may involve Luke Skywalker, but has insufficient evidence to implicate Talon Karrde in his duplicity. Han Solo and Lando Calrissian, however, sleuth out the truth, begrudging Karrde into cooperating into bring Luke back to safety. In the forest, Luke is marched by Mara Jade towards Hyllyard. Between the dangers of the forest and sleepless rotations, her animosity has boiled over to the point of confession. Before the deposition of the Emperor, she had held the position of Emperor's Hand, a covert operative answering to Palpatine's very mind. Disguised as best they can, Mara and Luke exit the forest into Imperial custody. As they are marched through Hyllyard, Karrde's men hand over a roughed-up Han Solo. Han covertly alerts Luke and Mara of an imminent ambush, but Luke sees a tactical alternative. He creates a ruckus so that R2-D2 can inform the ambushers, via C-3PO in binary droid speak, on the optimal timing for their attack. All right, Kyle, chapter 29, what happened?
I don't know if he is muted on purpose or... No, that doesn't look like it.
There he goes.
I only had one screen tonight, so I didn't see that. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
He was crazy once.
Feel like peanut bananas. So I'm just so upset that they killed Lando in this chapter.
No spoilers. That's mine. That's me. I'm the one who spoils things.
To be fair, they should have read the chapter before they read the episode. So.
I'm talking about things that happened in this chapter, Scott.
I know. That's spoiling the correct chapter.
Yeah, so how do we say this? Aves? Avs?
I think it's Aves.
But I think Tim also said Alves before.
Eh.
That doesn't sound right at all. The Empress is set, but with new information from C-3PO, Lando, and Karrde's administrator Aves, butt heads over whether to abide by their strategic preparations or Luke's intuition. Blasted to Aves' head, Lando stakes his and Karrde's men's lives on Luke, a gamble that leaves him mortally wounded. In the fire zone, Luke, Mara, and Han take cover until Luke can engage his plan. On his command, Han creates a distraction for R2-D2 to toss Luke's lightsaber for him. In the confusion, Luke fells the very archway that the Imperials are using it for cover, destroying the armored Imperial chariot.
I thought this was hilarious that wherever they go in the galaxy, they're just destroying architectural and historical monuments in their firefights. Like, that's the first thing they turn to.
Hey, how's that New Republic diplomacy?
Is that as soon as Luke's in danger, he sees the most valuable cultural artifact and uses that as a weapon, because it was the tapestries on Dumasari, this Myrkrian architecture that he's destroying, and even Chewbacca on Kashyyyk immediately blows open somebody's door with his bowcaster.
He was blowing open his own people's architecture.
If there's one thing I learned from this book, is that Luke and Han are ready to put anything on the New Republic's bill.
Yeah. Oh, your 5,000-year-old stone arch? Oh, well, yeah. We'll just
send an invoice. Yeah, we love a good vandal. I love Han Solo getting out of his cuffs. I was a little disappointed to find out they were dummy cuffs.
Yeah, me too.
I would have fully believed that Han could get out of any handcuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm confused
I had the exact
about.
same thought.
Yeah.
I don't know. I imagine Mara being able to, but
I didn't understand that. What do you mean they were dummy cuffs? Did the Stormtrooper have dummy cuffs that they put on Han? Or did Han put fake cuffs on himself and the Stormtrooper was like, oh, they came pre-handcuffed, great.
no. But remember, Chin turned him in.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. And this is all part of the ruse. Yeah.
Oh, I'll add that to my my vocabulary for lying, because in the I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been changing the words for people being deceptive in the intros. That we had subterfuge, we have duplicity, and now we've got ruse. I was going to add to my list of words to use.
Stuart, have you heard of a thesaurus?
Yes, I use it constantly.
Lando's in a tight spot.
Yeah, that was some unexpected pathos from him this chapter.
What do you mean by pathos?
Let me double check the definition to be sure I used it correctly.
Have you heard of a dictionary?
I didn't think I was going to get called out.
An element, an experience, or an artistic representation evoking pity or compassion. So yes, my instinct was right.
Oh, okay.
I am an emotional communicator.
All right, so that slipped past me. Which moment are you referring to? Like him being shot?
Yeah, when he has to choose, like, when to call the ambush. And when the guy who was saying, no, we have to go now, gets killed.
Right.
Yeah, and Lando had a moment where that really affected him.
Oh, okay.
And, the weight of the choice, like, hung on him. And he wondered if his gambling days should end.
Okay, so that self-reflection is the pathos of that moment. Okay, because I read your comment in the document, and I was like, oh, I got to look this up because I'm not sure what this means. And when you go to the Wikipedia article for modes of persuasion, there is pathos is trying to appeal to people through an emotional appeal. There is ethos. Ethos is the belief in other people and their skills. Logos is the appeal to logic and tactics, and kairos is apparently the appeal to timing of a particular event. And I thought it was quite interesting that after looking in that rabbit hole for a little bit, that we've got all those things in this chapter. That we have Lando's belief in Luke he's trying to make an appeal to ethos in that, I believe this person's really talented in this area. And he even said that, he might be a Jedi without the Force, but that still makes him a Jedi.
Right, yeah.
I like that line, which we'll come back to once I'm done on this tangent. Luke is looking at this about the timing and the particular opportunities that are coming up in the moment, and that is the Kairos. But Aves wants to double down on the logos, the tactics of the situation that they've already established. So, not what you meant, but I thought it was quite an interesting addition to this.
Yeah, no, that's a good observation. I usually see pathos in storytelling circles being used to describe like gaining sympathy for a character, like a moment where you gain sympathy. Yeah, but I like where you went with that tangent. That is a really excellent observation. I wonder if we could apply that to other chapters. Not now, but just a thought.
Yeah. Okay. We'll keep that.
We only have so much time.
Yeah, we'll keep that in our back pocket for another time.
Yeah.
But so stepping back to Luke being a Jedi, even without the Force, I thought that was a really cool call out because, his training is not solely based on his use of the Force, but it's also kind of like mindset and mentality that he's picking up.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
I'm a big advocate of mindfulness as a mental state, and I find the Jedi to be a source of inspiration for that. So it even translates to real world stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I actually find mindfulness is a very good practice that I've picked up, and I wish I practiced it more than I did. And it is something that I see as a very particular lens through both the way that in Star Wars they talk about the light side and the dark side. It's different ways to achieve mindfulness of like focusing on your hate. It gives you focus in this moment because, you're being mindful about what is in your environment causing these negative emotions. And that's one lens into creating mindfulness. And then there's the light side of creating mindfulness through repetition and practice and, this state of letting go.
Yeah.
I actually see the dark side being more the opposite, where it's like you're so shaken by fears you have that it affects your focus.
Huh.
See, I think that's the folly of the dark side.
Yeah.
Is that I can't remember what happens in Return of the Jedi, but definitely in Revenge of the Sith, Palpatine says to Anakin, I feel your hate, it gives you focus. And doesn't he say something very similar to Luke on the Death Star too?
That's true. And when Luke does lean into his hate and anger, he wallops Vader.
Yeah.
In Return of the Jedi. And Obi-Wan, oh man, we might have some mixed metaphors in Star Wars here.
What are you talking about? How dare you?
Right? Because I was just thinking to Phantom Menace where Obi-Wan leans into his anger and Darth Maul kicks him down the pit. And then he starts focusing and becoming more tranquil and he slices Darth Maul in half.
But that's why I think that like there's a difference between being a tool of the dark side and the dark side being your tool.
Oh, that's fair.
That if you are just wrapped up in your emotions and you're not being present in those things, that's what the fall to the dark side is. However, in other contexts of like the true Sith, rather than just a dark sider, these people are using their emotions to ground them in the present and take control of the Force.
See, I kind of think of mindfulness as being kind of like the real talent, and the Force kind of used to bolster that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I agree. And it feels so cool in real life.
Yeah. I have a theory about mindfulness that is like, I don't know how substantiated it is, but I feel like practicing mindfulness is like an instant state of flow. And that you find flow in, practicing something, whether it be like music or woodworking or, even in your job, that you just kind of like like with Kyle's machine work, that you just turn off and you're just able to like flow through that thing.
Mm-hmm.
That I feel like practicing mindfulness is an instant access to a state of flow that's not connected to, I don't know, busy work with your hands or something like that. But I wonder if there is some neurological connection between flow and mindfulness.
Yeah.
I think so. Because I most often apply it in social situations where I tend to be anxious, and it feels like a flow state where I'm a lot more like aware of like people's reactions and things, and I'm also not focusing on any tangents or misreadings from people. I'm just focusing on the information that I have and how to respond to that, and it does feel like a flow state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I got N of 2 now.
Yeah. Right. All right. Someone else's turn to say the smart thing.
I like shooting and guns in this chapter. Lightsabers go.
Yeah. Any blaster go boom.
Yeah.
All right, what do you think of the action in the chapter?
Intense. A lot going down. I enjoyed the visuals. I love that they called out that Luke's lightsaber's green in this, and when he slices that guy in half.
Yeah, that was intense.
Yeah, like just the row of stormtroopers just like cuts through it like it was paper or something.
Oh yeah, even that description was like slicing through the armor, hardly a tug to mark its passing.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
jeez. You mentioned it being like a universal cutting implement and being such a good tool.
Yeah.
When Leia was using it, and I was like, oof, yeah, jeez.
Right.
Yep.
It cuts through the stone like the stone's nothing too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Which was pretty intense.
I was listening to something that suggested that lightsabers have a sharp side to them.
A sharp side.
Sharp side? Like a single-edged
Yeah,
blade?
it was like talking about how the reason why not anyone can just pick up a lightsaber is that there is a proper angle to come down with a swipe of a lightsaber for it to be deadly and cut all the way through. I think it was definitely more of a theory, not based on anything, but definitely an interesting concept that
It is.
I never got that.
even though it is a concentrated energy, there is a proper way to wield it.
Mm-hmm.
Bouncing to canon for a moment. What if the Darksaber is like that?
I could see.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
But I do think that we have multiple points in possibly the movies, but definitely the TV shows that refute that. That it's there's no edge to it. It's any way you cut is the right way.
The laser I use at work doesn't matter what direction it's going in.
Yeah. Lasers in general do not care.
Yeah.
So yes, I was disappointed to hear that Luke's lightsaber was green. That kind of scuppered my my theory from the previous chapters of, what if it is just white and the after image in your mind is a color?
Maybe it was just describing the after image.
Maybe. But also Luke is our point of view character, so as a Jedi, he might be sensitive to those things.
Could be.
Yeah.
So
it's like when you look at the...
I don't think it's dead quite yet.
Yeah. I mean, like if we get Karrde or Han or somebody as the point of view to say like, oh, and then that's just a blazing blade, then I would be more like, okay, yeah, I feel good about this theory, but yeah.
I'm just disappointed because I still want to know Leia's.
Yeah.
I thought we found out in the previous...
No. It was just described in very interesting, flashes.
Okay,
and
Yeah. And it described it as lightning, which is where I got this after image idea from. Chunk of wayward lightning. I still think about that phrase. I'm like, oh.
It's a cool one.
Such a
cool. Yeah.
Such a good impression.
Yeah.
That's dangerous too, just like a lightsaber. But
oh yeah.
You don't want to be struck by a piece of wayward lightning.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Or a wayward lightsaber.
Speaking of a wayward lightsaber, Luke just chucks his.
Yeah. The other side of the pillars.
Yeah. Yeah. I did think it was interesting that it had a lock to stay on, that he had to engage.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it did the same thing with Leia's, though.
I couldn't remember if there was like a mention of that, but
Maybe that's what the little black button on the side is for.
oh, right. Yeah, here's a Luke lightsaber from Disney. It's not a great replica. I have it. It'll be gone soon. But there are like these two little black buttons on the side of the control box. Mm-hmm. Some interpret them as a sliding switch like Disney does.
Okay.
But it's possible one of them is the lock and one is the activation.
Oh, okay.
I'll find a good reference photo for that.
Mm-hmm. I just horribly spoiled myself for this book series.
Yeah.
I just wanted to look up to see if it's actually stated what color Leia's lightsaber was, and it spoiled huge events for the story.
Okay. All right. I won't look it up then.
Mm-hmm. But do not go to Leia's lightsaber color in the Wikipedia under legends. It destroyed. There are several things that I now know that I wish I didn't, and I will forget.
All right, so we will not link to that in our show notes.
We will not.
Go into incognito mode when we're browsing? Is that?
We will make a PSA right now. Do not look it up, readers.
If you want to leave it out, I do want to bring it up just because who knows if we're actually going to get to this series or not. Apparently, in one of the series, Luke gives Leia a ruby red lightsaber.
Oh, that's cute.
But the blade is red.
Nice.
Oh, not the hilt.
It's not a bedazzled hilt. And so, big point in this chapter, Lando is mortally wounded and cuts to black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's dead. Can't believe it.
No,
because we wanted him so badly in this book.
Someone quick, get him some hot chocolate.
I'm sure he's alive, but man, I imagine Hod would feel devastatingly guilty if they got Lando killed.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking just the past few chapters. Who's going to die in this series? Can people die? And now we've got Lando on a stretcher.
Quick, grab a pillow so that you can suck his essence into the pillow. And then he becomes the cool side of the pillow.
Lando will live on.
Bring him on the Millennium Falcon and upload his brain to it.
Yeah, he'll join his... what was the droid's name? He'll just join the
L337. One of my favorite droids, by the way.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. There was another moment I liked where 3PO was trying to explain something to Lando.
Yeah.
And I just love the description. It was after 3PO said something. It said he was obviously relieved that someone was finally listening to him. And I was like, poor 3PO.
Man, is 3PO the odd one out?
He needs better friends.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why he likes R2 so much? Because R2 actually listens to him?
Probably. R2 probably talks back to him, but he listens.
Yeah, because R2's not a great friend to him, but they stick together.
R2's always just telling him, it's like, cut off, I don't care. Go away.
That's a really sad thought, that people talk at C3PO, they don't talk to him.
Well, he is a translator droid for most of it. So, I've been a translator here in Japan on certain events, and you try not to be a person at those times. You're just trying to facilitate communication between two people, and the more that you become the person that they're talking to, I'm like, hold on. I need to ask the person that you're actually having a conversation with. I'm just a front here.
No wonder you're the protocol droid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonk.
I simulate human interaction. Am I actually having one? I'm not sure.
What is human interaction?
Overrated.
Yeah, slightly shorter chapter. There's a lot of action in this chapter, but not.
Yeah, I like how they're all worried about the chariot thing, and Luke's like, "No, I want it. I want it to be in the.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, no, the door's coming down.
Yeah.
He's like, just wait, you guys. It's going to be so sick.
It really kind of reminds me of like a D&D fight where like battles will last like an hour long, but it's like, oh man, 5 minutes just happened.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. What does this chariot look like?
Oh, yeah. So this chariot kind of looks like if you've seen Rebels. There's, I don't think it's a good comparison, but there's a lot of like these armored transports on it's not Lethal, right?
Mm-hmm.
That the Imperials are using things quite a lot like this. I mean, if you want a better picture, because it's obviously a different model, go to the link in the description. But yeah, if you can conjure a picture in your mind, that would be what I would base it off. This just looks a little bit more angular.
Okay, I'm looking at the picture now. Okay, nice. That does look kind of scary.
Yeah.
Like, at first, I'm like, oh, that's cute and quirky retro sci-fi. And then I think about it in a combat situation. I'm like, oh, that seems very effective.
Yeah, I could imagine a lot of, like, ricocheting blaster bolts off that hull.
Right?
I like that the picture that we have as well is one that's scuffed up rather than, like, a brand new model.
Yeah.
It's got all these dents and scratches and stuff.
I mean, that's probably what they're using at this point.
Oh, yeah.
And did this debut in Heir of the Empire?
Yes, I did want to point that out too. Yeah.
Okay.
First
So,
appearance
that's
in
why.
the Empire. But yeah, another shout out to Pellaeon for his training of the troops, because Luke said that they didn't seem to be scared at all, or didn't have any fear or whatever. And turned around and just started fighting immediately.
Yeah, I like how they anticipated the ambush. They all spread out, not to get like taken out. It was easy.
Okay, so a couple episodes ago, we discussed Pellaeon's pride, and specifically how he doesn't like the implication that like the Emperor was controlling or influencing, or same with Sabayoth.
Yeah.
And Stuart, you just made me realize that Pellaeon probably trained these guys, so he probably really, really cares about training.
Yeah. I think he's the main drill sergeant on many of these operations, or at least would be overseeing the drill sergeants to make sure that they're enforcing a good chain of command and good, drilling tactics and whatnot.
Yeah, no, I would certainly hate to see all my work get overshadowed by some mystical mumbo jumbo. By some dude sitting on a ship. Yeah.
And then what happened?
I mean, yeah, we had the scuffle between Aves and Lando that took up two sections, because it jumped back and forth 4 times, I think, in this one. And then there was the beginning of the firefight, and then the end of the firefight, which we have, as always, the droid in the middle of the firefight, and the fire's on.
Right,
just
that was funny.
Rolling through it. And I feel like maybe Luke would have been a bit more worried for R2 at that point, because like if it was any other place, he would be able to use the Force to, like, I don't know, manipulate the statistics about how well, whether or not R2 is going to be shot or not. But
I imagine it's like most video games that have a shooting practice game. R2 is the little target that moves through that you're not supposed to hit, or you lose points.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Then he makes him pause a second to give him his lightsaber. Yeah. It's like, R2, forget about yourself right now.
Yeah.
You're a fancy sheath for my lightsaber.
Yeah, right. And R2's just like, shut up, you're my dog.
Go catch. Go fetch.
Here, catch, Luke.
Go fetch.
Oh, and don't forget my power bar.
Yeah.
My Luke snacks.
I did like the implication that he can catch it perfectly without the Force, though.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was very, very cool.
And his hand was already outstretched, and like, so R2 did all the work, and he just like calculated the trajectory, and just.
So this maneuver wasn't Luke's doing; it was R2's doing the entire time.
Luke isn't a good catch. R2 is just a good thrower.
Yeah, R2 knows that. It's like, we play catch so many times, you never catch it. I got to do the work.
Yeah.
Let me do this. Just hold your hand.
That was an impressive throw on Jabba's sail barge, then.
Yeah, it was. That's all R2.
Can you imagine R2 as a quarterback?
Oh, they did have that droid sports going on in episode 2 in the bar.
Yeah,
with the death sticks.
Right.
Would you watch a droid sports game? I mean, I don't watch sports in general, so like.
Yeah.
I rarely, but I think I would.
I think I would, unless it was violent.
I mean, I might get bored with it after. What about BattleBots?
You didn't like BattleBots?
I loved that.
I mean, robots are robots, but droids are entirely different. Droids are people.
Right,
Yeah.
I loved BattleBots. I thought it was so cool.
I know, it was cool. I was just grimacing at the moral implications.
Yeah.
What about that? What was the movie? Real Steel or something? Where you got to put on the helmets and you are the boxers, but it's just like a droid body that you're.
Was that before or after that episode of Futurama?
There was an episode of Futurama about that?
Yeah, I think it was. I think that was before that movie, Real Steel.
Oh.
Kyle, you're muted.
Yeah, we're missing a lot of good commentary from Kyle.
Oh, I've been saying so many important facts. Everything. Oh, too bad I don't remember it.
Say them all now and we'll push them back in the edit.
I also remember that episode of Futurama where it was like the Robotic Wrestling Federation.
Yeah. And then at the end it turns out that Leela's little fly instructor that, it's like throwback to Karate Kid where her instructor's actually a fly, is controlling like the big giant robot.
Right. I also made a comment of how fast can R2 launch out of him then, if he can just like launch a lightsaber, and can he use that as a weapon? Like, can you just like fill him up with the box and just have him like
like he just has random
just lock onto someone's face,
like a bottle opener or a hammer or something there, and just like launch it out at some dude next to him.
Yeah, just be a little catapult.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't there an episode of Rebels, Tim, where him and Chopper are just like spitting stuff out of their front?
Oh, I forget.
It's not
cause distractions or
I think that's one thing that is very surprising. Like, I do understand that R2 and C-3PO do have pre-made like what they do. Why have they not like attached weapons to them? There are so many situations where their lives are in danger. Why would you not just like attach a gun to R2 C-3PO?
R2 doesn't need a gun.
Yeah, he can just kick your ass. But C-3PO, it's against his programming or whatever the hell that means. But
yeah,
R2 has no moral quandaries.
No, he won't.
But I guess to be fair, that it's all the more the reason for when R2 or C-3PO are just like slowly moving across the battlefield, you're not going to shoot at them. They have like those things don't have threats to them.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Which, after all this, I mean, R2 deserves a rest. He needs to shut down or something, because
he's been through so much these past few chapters.
Yeah. Although I guess he could have been sleeping on the barge. Not the barge, what do they call it? The Sond? No, the Sond balloon was the...
Yeah, has he been a lot? He's just kind of been letting Luke carry him around the jungle, and I don't think he's in any danger of Fortune trying to eat him.
I mean, I would enjoy that.
Yeah. I mean, he was supposed to be on lookout, I guess, for like, he was using his sound map or whatever to get the Vonskas.
Oh, wait a minute. No. R2-D2, like, grabbed Fortune's tail when it whipped him.
Yeah.
I remember it just like flicked his little grabber arm like it was just like a stick or something.
Yeah. So he definitely needs an oil bath and some more than routine maintenance.
Yeah. He lost his little grabber arm and his little arc welder thing.
Yeah.
But he can still kick your ass.
Yeah, he totally can.
But you can also trip him. It is possible to trip him.
R2's one weakness is to be tripped.
He can get up on his own, right?
Can he?
I don't know. With his rocket thrusters, yes, but we don't know if he has them in this.
Yeah.
I mean, in the movies, we've seen him be helped up a bunch of times, but like, you know, that's like when you trip your training partner in a dojo or something, like you help them up. You don't. Everyone can get up by themselves, but
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
It's just a courtesy.
It's camaraderie, helping your buddy up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to look up if R2 can get up on his own and hopefully doesn't spoil the entire book for me.
Danger.
I could see him like pushing his legs down to get up. Or maybe he just puts them down, then just does like a sick backflip the rest of his body to get up.
He's like one of those, like the first pet dogs that came out in the early 2000s that is a bark, 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 and then it slowly ratchets down and then does a backflip.
Supposedly he has a cable that helps him get up stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Makes sense. I like my idea more.
And then Luke throws his lightsaber without the Force.
I saw a comic where it's like Obi-Wan and Vader are fighting, and Obi-Wan just like drops the saber straight down, and it like just goes right through and like blows up.
Yeah.
I thought of that in this chapter.
Yeah. Oh man, what would happen if you took out the artificial gravity on a Death Star? Do you think it would be easy to maneuver around?
I don't know. Would it be so large that it creates its own gravity at to a level, to a degree?
So like the gravity,
maybe like a very weak form of gravity, but
I mean, maybe it has an orbit, but I don't know about inside.
Is the Death Star arranged in like onion layers, or is it arranged in like tomato slices?
I always thought it was more like tomato slices.
I thought so too, but I think I like the onion idea.
Yeah, because like I always thought the levels were tomato slices, and you just have artificial gravity underneath each level.
Yeah, I always pictured onion.
Oh,
but then you go, and I mean, even if you do have your onion thing, you got to have your artificial gravity so that it's just the gravity is distributed evenly across the whole thing, right? Right, Tim, what's that face about?
guys,
did he get
Return of the Jedi, the Death Star 2, we literally see the inside of it.
Yeah.
At all times. Yeah, it's in layers like a tomato slice.
Damn it.
We're just speculating.
No, sorry. Keep speculating.
That's the Death Star 2. What if Death Star 1 is the onion?
You know what? You're right. Maybe they went with a different design.
They're like, that exhaust port thing, that's that's not effective at having to be an onion, so let's go for the tomato this time.
Right.
Oh man, could you imagine making a lap around the outer layer of the Death Star?
Ogres are like Death Stars.
Wompers are like Death Stars. Yeah, I was just thinking, did one of the cross-section books have the Death Star on it?
I don't have a vehicle one. I've just got the visual dictionary for the movie.
Does Death Star count as a vehicle, though?
Yeah, they got vehicle cross-sections. I've got one for episode 1, you know.
I love the idea of the Death Star taking a sharp turn. Like if the captain of the Death Star just turned the wheel all the way to the right, would they just start doing little spins?
Here's a cool cutaway.
Death Star cutaway. Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, there's a lot happening there.
It's way denser than you even think. I mean, it would of course it
It's enormous, right?
Yeah.
That looks onion to me.
Kind of looks like a cell. Looks like a cell. There's the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the Death Star.
Yeah, okay. Jesus Christ. Or Dank Farrick.
Yeah.
I love the note about the exhaust port where it says at the end, Red Leader shot at the small port is only a near miss. Did Red Leader write this?
Only a near miss. But Luke used the Force and saved the day.
Yeah.
But not for the millions of people on the Death Star.
No.
He ended their day.
So many innocent lives lost on the Death Star. There's definitely some babies on the Death Star.
Ah.
Like a daycare. Oh, it makes me sad.
Is there?
There was definitely a maternity ward on the Death Star.
Oh.
Death Star daycare.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I making Star Wars a little too real?
Let me have my space wizards.
Space Wizard.
There's so much to look at here.
Yeah. This is cool.
Carrier beam crystal. Wow. This definitely looks like a style that was made before kyber crystals were a thing.
Oh, it comes straight out from the reactor in the center. Hypermatter reactor. You know, that's something we don't hear a lot about, but it's just like in the background is hypermatter and like hyperspace, of course, right?
Yeah.
But like induction hyperphase generator, like hyperspace and hypermatter is like something that's just taken for granted. And the subspace radio as well, of like, there's like these weird phases of matter or weird, like exotic matter in this universe that just like is just in the background to say, oh yeah, by the way, we make extreme amounts of energy with this stuff. And that's it.
All right, so we learned about the Death Star. Right.
And the difference between the onion model and the tomato model.
We know which one is canon, but which one is superior?
Yeah. There's only one way to find out, guys. We got to do it ourselves.
Yep.
We got to do it ourselves. We got to make both.
Build it ourselves.
Yeah, subscribe to our Patreon to fund the Death Star.
Not just one Death Star, but two Death Stars.
Right. Death Star 3 and 4.
We're now introducing our Death Star tier, starting at $1,000 a month.
What was the quote the government made for the Death Star?
What was what?
The quote that the government made for the Death Star?
Oh, I've heard of this.
On change.org, there was a petition for the United States to make a Death Star. It got enough
Signatories?
signatures that the U.S. had to respond. Because that's how it works.
Oh my god, there's a lot of zeros. I found it.
Like trillion or something.
I thought you meant like the Coruscanti government, the galactic government in Star Wars made some like propaganda about the Death Star of like why this is necessary for galactic peace. It's like, oh, this sounds interesting. Because all I could think of was Tarkin's line about fear will keep them in line.
Nothing says peacetime like a giant super weapon.
Oh, okay. 852. What if there is 5 sets of 3 zeros? What's that called? Quintillion?
Yeah.
852 quintillion dollars. 13,000 times the world's GDP.
But money is just a concept. Like,
All right.
But we will create more jobs in the creation of this Death Star, so the GDP will increase.
We will.
So go to lostholocron.com and you can find out how you can support future episodes.
And 2 Death Stars.
And
The funds will eventually trickle down back to you.
Right.
well, yeah, to be fair, we're going to need people to staff for both Death Stars.
Yes.
yeah, there's employment opportunities for all listeners out there. You and your friends.
Yeah. You get a free lizard upon hiring. Sign-on bonus.
Plus a copy of our next book.
Yeah. All right. Well, we want to remind you guys, our listeners, that we do have a Patreon, and our top tier supporters go check out the tiers, and in the higher tiers, we will send you a copy of the books as we move on throughout our releases.
Signed copies.
we can't promise signed copies.
And you get a free lizard.
But yes, we will give you. Well, we'll have to sort out what the logistics of that is, because maybe we just give them credits to buy their own books or audio books, or however you prefer to listen. That we're making this promise that we don't know how to fulfill. But we promise if you sign up, we will find out how to fulfill that.
We're going to use like 10% of what you've said about the Patreon.
Yeah. And the lizard may or may not be alive when you get it, but
We will look at your job application first when we are looking to staff our Death Stars.
Not on my Death Star. See, here's the problem: is that we have to split it up. 2 of us get one Death Star, and 2 of us get the other. Clearly, I'm going to be on the Onion Death Star.
I'm Team Tomato.
I'm Team Onion.
All right, it's me and Stuart versus
That
Kyle.
leaves me with the tomato.
All right, Kyle. You and me.
Particularly because we need 2 captains that say tomato and tomato differently.
Yep. Me and Kyle are going to paint the universe red.
Death Star laser duel.
Yeah.
I love the idea of 2 Death Stars furiously trying to position themselves in a way that they can shoot each other.
Just get stuck orbiting each other, and the lasers will like always be like opposing, so like we'll never be able to like shoot each other.
Oh, the collateral damage on the universe.
I love the idea of our 2 Death Stars getting at the perfect angle that we just start orbiting each other.
Chuck it in reverse. I'm sorry, we're stuck in a loop. We can't exit the gravity well of the other Death Star.
Does the Death Star probably has a gravitational force around it, right?
I would think it's so massive. I mean, did you see how dense that thing is? It has to.
I believe it.
It's like an artificial planetoid.
The Death Star weighs.
Channel on Twitter, #Team Onion and #Team Tomato. Which ship you want to get on?
Uh-huh.
I can't promise we won't ram the other ship.
1.2 quintillion tons is what the first Death Star is purported to weigh.
Damn.
Wow.
That's pretty heavy.
So quintillion tons. Compare that to how heavy is the? Hold on, that is 10 to the 15. How heavy is the? Oh, okay. The Earth is way more massive than the Death Star.
Oh yeah.
Man.
It's a small moon or whatever. But it is no moon. It's a space station.
Moon. Even the moon is 10,000 times heavier than the Death Star.
Yeah. I imagine the Death Star maybe being like, I don't know, like Ceres? Like the size of Ceres or Eris?
Okay, yeah.
Maybe?
So,
I don't know. Can't remember how big they are, but...
Yeah, you wouldn't even get like a millionth of a G maybe from the Death Star's weight by itself. So it needs. We will be investing in anti-gravity technology or gravitational technology.
Like Mount Rushmore, I can't promise it will be made in my lifetime, but have you guys heard this thing, like, for the next 300 years that we have a second moon or something?
Yeah, I heard that. Well, we've had... I think they recently discovered something else orbiting us, but we've had something orbiting, like a little, I don't know, some kind of rock orbiting us for quite a while.
Oh,
I
neat.
think they recently discovered something else, too.
Cool.
I'm going to link its name, because I can't say it. It's a forbidden word.
The Wikipedia article for the claimed moons of Earth. Petite's moon, Walter Mouth's moon, other claims.
Kamo'alewa.
Is that a Hawaiian word or?
It looks like Hawaiian, yeah. They've been naming, like, there's quite a few things out there with Hawaiian names now.
I think it was because it was founded.
Because of the Hawaiian Observatory.
Yeah.
All right, half an hour ago we said we had no more material left, but
we found stuff.
We made our own material.
We did. Death Star.
That's what we do. We make content.
Yeah. Final
right.
thoughts on this chapter?
Not enough Death Stars.
Do you think a super laser of some kind is going to come into this trilogy?
I hope not.
100%.
It doesn't seem like Thrawn would do that.
I feel like he's cocky enough to be like third time's the charm. Those idiots didn't do it right the first time.
He's going to try an onion layer this time.
Oh, speaking of like tomato versus tomato, like because it's written down that it doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't matter. But apparently the name for Japan in Japanese is either Nihon or Nippon, depending on like how you read the same kanji. And people have been petitioning the Japanese government for a very long time for an official reading on what is the name of this country, and they refuse to answer. They're like, the name of the country is these two characters, but we're not going to give an official reading for that. It doesn't sound like anything. It's just...
Well, that's cool, though.
The country name is purely logographic.
That is really cool. I like that.
It's kind of like when Prince changed his name into the...
Oh, yeah, the symbol.
Yeah.
The country externally known as Japan.
Yeah. All right. Fun chapter. Solid action.
Yeah.
Sliding towards the end. This has been The Lost Holocron. You can find transcripts, links to discussions, and more at our website, lostholocron.com. While you're there, you can learn how you can support the creation of future episodes. Read on, and we will be waiting for you in the next transmission. We would be honored if you would join us.